Okay, hi guys, and welcome to today's show. Now, last year I did a video discussing my top 5 essential items I believe every gentleman should have. Now, included in that was, of course, the wristwatch and also a pocket knife and a decent pair of shoes, dress shoes, that kind of thing. Something I did neglect and probably would have been number 6 in the list had it been a top 10 was, of course, a writing instrument. So today, you guys know I love my Parker Jotter, very inexpensive pen. To be honest, I'm not really into luxury writing instruments, just mainly because I don't use them enough to warrant paying that much. But I do swear by my little Opinel knife that you guys would have seen in just about every video. They remind me of living in France, and I just love them. Inexpensive, but today I wanted to offer a kind of more luxurious, a bit more of a traditional higher end alternatives to those two items. Now, before we get into the video, I should of course do a wristwatch check. I am indeed wearing my Speedmaster. This is a Speedmaster First Omega in Space. Federico says I don't wear this enough, and he's absolutely right. I've got to start enjoying all my pieces a little bit more, get them into rotation a bit more regularly. Anyway, wristwatch check done. Let's roll the intro and get into today's video. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. And today we are looking at 2 luxury alternatives to some items that really have become quite an integral part of not only my life but also the channel as well. And those are, of course, my little Parker Jotter, which is my go-to pen of choice, and my little Opinel knife. I went into the history of the folding knife. It's something that actually the Romans invented. It's something that noblemen would always have on them. And it became quite commonplace in all ranks of society. The folding knife is just so useful. It's a great little tool. The Opinel is my go-to choice, mainly because they're very affordable. For me, there's the romance of the brand, because it reminds me of my time living and traveling around France and wine tasting and visiting all these beautiful chateaus and all the rest of it. So it really has that kind of Proustian Madeleine effect. Also, they're extremely well made. This is the number 6. I've done a whole video of them. I'll leave a link in the description. Very classic. You know, these really are originated as farmers' knives, nothing fancy at all. I love the variation in sizes, and you can get ones with corkscrews in, which I have included. And you know, it's a very kind of non-aggressive. Something is small, you can get the even smaller ones. They're just beautiful, and I love all the different kind of woods. This particular one has been custom engraved by my good friend Ken, who kindly had this one done with the Gothic text of the urban gentry. Absolutely gorgeous, very inexpensive, and you can get these on Amazon all over the place. Very traditional French knives. Now, the same could be said about my Parker Jotter. It's very inexpensive, it's classic, been made recently even more desirable by famously being used on Mad Men by Don Draper. It's got that kind of mid-century sleek aesthetic. It's just very classy, again, not expensive. This actually didn't make it in my top 5. This probably, a writing instrument probably would have been my top 6, just mainly because I use computers so much. But it is good to have a pen, something that is stylish, that is solid, reliable, that is built well. But for me, it's not a huge priority. However, I do understand that some of my audience may want something a little bit more luxurious. So I've brought in 2 alternatives. Now, First of all, I've got to thank my good friend Elijah for lending me this. This is his MontBlanc. This is the Meisterstuck. Absolutely classic, iconic pen, which we'll go into in just a second. Now, a more luxurious alternative to the Opinel is, of course, another traditional, iconic French knife, and this is the Laguiole. Very deeply rooted ingrained in French culture. Again, it came from quite humble means, much like the Opinel, originally designed for shepherds. The first ones date from about 1829, certainly been around for a while, and they've become a luxury item over the years. They were intended as a tool knife. They've very much become iconic in their own right because of their instantly recognizable shape and look, and they've become collector's items. Now, the name Laguiole actually comes from a small village in the south of France where they were originally produced. There still are some knife makers in that area, but these days they're made all over France. Having said that, the cheaper, more affordable ones are now produced in China and Pakistan, but if you want real quality ones, I recommend this particular brand. This is Robert David, dates from about 1919, made in France, and probably the most high quality ones would be the Laguiole un Aubrec. But my choice is Robert David, mainly because I think they're a little bit more affordable, but still that French made quality that you'd want in a good knife. So the construction is fairly simple. We have 2 plates in the handle, and then 4 bolsters, usually stainless steel or brass, 2 on each side and 2 on the top. Then of course the main spring on the back, and you can tell the high quality ones because the iconic B, which we'll get into in just a second, is 1 piece. The spring and the fly, or the B here, should be 1 piece, and this actually assists in its opening process when it clicks into place. Blade is stainless steel in this particular case. These days they actually use a Swedish steel. 2C27 stainless steel is used, and the actual bolsters traditionally was either bone or horn. I chose a stag horn. I just think it's more indicative of the traditional designs. It's a really nice look, gives a kind of classic look to it. Of course you can, these days they use all kinds of exotic woods, all kinds of different colors. What are the key features of a Laguiole knife? Well, the first thing, if we just close it again, and this is a really worthy point to note, that when you're closing it, you close it to about halfway and then you slowly guide it back. You don't want to let it hit the knife because you want to protect the spring. So the key features, first of all, its iconic shape, which is said to be like a lady's leg. Second of all, the very thin blade. Then of course the engraving on the back spring and this little B here. Now the B is actually a symbol, an ancient symbol, a royal symbol of immortality and resurrection, and legend has it that the B was granted by Napoleon to soldiers of the Laguiole region for their courage. So just a really nice, cool little bit of history incorporated into the design. Of course we have this hand etched pattern on the back. Now this varies from knife to knife, and what this signifies is each knife maker has a different pattern, and it's continued on this part of the blade here, and the different patterns signify who made the knife, who the craftsman was. So it's been personally signed by the knife maker, which is a really, really cool thing. So size wise they do vary. We're looking at about 9 inches including the handle. The blade usually is about, I'd say about 4 inches there. From what I remember from childhood and the ones I saw in France, they are typically around about this size. Now another key feature of the Laguiole knife is, if you see on the handle here, the pins are in a cross formation. This was a very rudimentary rosary used by the shepherds. What they do, they'd open the blade, they'd stick it in a bit of bread standing up like this, and they'd actually use it for praying. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but you can see the pins are in a cross formation. What would happen is the shepherds weren't able to leave their flock and unable to go to church, so they'd actually use this as a rudimentary little cross to pray with. Really cool little feature. This particular one I picked up on eBay from a seller within the United States. This was about $70. They can go up to several $100s depending on what, if you're having more luxurious woods, or if you're going for the best of the best, which of course is Laguiole and Aubrac, which is the most, the cream of the crop. Then you're talking several $100s. But like I said, you can pick something up like this for about $70 on eBay, and this is going to last you a lifetime. It's an absolute classic. It's very elegant. It's become a very desirable luxury product. Definitely something a little bit more sophisticated than the Opinel. Beautifully made, really solid feel. It's nice to have something that's been handmade by a traditional French manufacturer. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about the Mont Blanc. Now this has been lent in by my good friend Elijah. This is actually given to him by his grandfather, and this is probably the most classic Mont Blanc pen out there. This is the Meisterstuck, and Mont Blanc is a luxury goods brand founded in Hamburg, Germany in 1906, which is 110 odd years ago. Iconic part of their brand is that white star logo that we find on the top. They're now part of the Richemont group, and this particular one is a twist open ballpoint. You just twist it like that and it opens. They're traditionally known for their pens, obviously, but they have expanded into watches, leather goods, luxury accessories, even fragrances in recent years. So it comes in this very kind of luxurious little leather box. This particular one is an older version. Now the pen itself is made out of this very deliberately designed glossy resin that when you hold it, it just grips very easily. It doesn't slide about. It looks beautiful. It really catches the light wonderfully, but at the same time, it's designed ergonomically to be easy to grip. It never kind of slides out. Compared to the Jotter, that is just chrome. It is a little, doesn't have the same kind of grip. If we look close up at some of the detail, we'll see these gold-plated accents with the name written there, engraved beautifully. Right at the top, I'm not sure if you can see that, but you'll see a little serial number. This is how you tell that it's real. And you'll see there, made in Germany. It's very small, very difficult to see. The gold plating and the black, gold and black just goes so well together. It's extremely elegant and classy. Now, personally, I'm not into the fountain pens. My handwriting is absolutely terrible. That's why I don't really go in for expensive pens, and just a ballpoint or a Jotter like this is just perfect for me. Having said that, there is something to be said in the gift of a high quality pen, something like this. So if we bring in some paper here and we just use it, the pen obviously is very solid, has a nice balance to it. It's not top heavy, which you'd expect. The grip is beautiful, and when you write, it really is a pleasure to grip. It's extremely comfortable. You don't even have to put much pressure on the pen. You just lays in the hand. They've really thought about the weight distribution in the pen, much more so than the Jotter. The argument here is, obviously for me, having a fountain pen is a little bit wasted, but a luxury ballpoint is something I would be willing to consider. You can pick these up for a couple of $100 used on eBay if you're lucky, if you keep your eye out. These things do age very, very well. They're, because of the solid construction and the high quality finish, it's a bit like a watch in that sense. You can get them on the used market for a steal, and they are perfect for a gift, to mark an important occasion, a graduation or an anniversary. I love the subtle branding, especially if you clip it in a pocket and you can just see the little star sticking out. Styling is very minimal. It's that classic look. It's always going to be stylish no matter what. It's just it's like a Speedmaster or a Rolex Submariner. It's just that everlasting classic, refined, stylish design that just does not age. Same can be said very much of the Jotter. Equally iconic. The only difference is I think the Mont Blanc very much more is a status symbol. Is it worth the spending hundreds of dollars from a $6 pen? Maybe so. The only bad thing is obviously if you lose it. However, I do tend to look after my stuff, so I am actually considering it. I think having a nice pen certainly is something not essential. I mean, I feel, you know, these two items are absolutely fine, and I will always continue to have them and enjoy them. But you know, I wanted to give a more of a luxurious alternatives. If we open it up, we have the replaceable cartridges inside. Right now it's just a standard black, very easy to refill. You don't really have to worry about leaks and all the rest of it like you would a fountain pen. The action to opening the pen is extremely solid, very different to the spring button action of a Parker. It's silent and refined. Is it worth it? Well, I guess that's the ultimate question. Personally, I think it is. Now spending some time with the MontBlanc, I'm certainly considering one. Okay guys, so those are my two luxury alternatives to the classic men's accessories must-haves, not including the watch obviously, but I mean, you know, do I even have to say that? Anyway guys, let's take it back to the studio. Now please don't forget to add your thoughts, queries, questions, opinions and nominations for similar items you wish me to review or feature on the channel. I really appreciate having your feedback, so please don't forget to add that in the comments below. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and found it useful. It really does help me. And as always guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, ciao.